Dear intestudents, this is a short video regarding the chapter number 5, items of financial statements. There are a lot of queries which students ask, ma'am, how to study this chapter? So this video is to address all those queries. First and foremost, let me put a disclaimer. The entire video is regarding the items of financial statements, only my judgment how to carry out this chapter. So my advice is to do this chapter towards the end. Towards the end means after completing the other chapters. Second thing, this chapter is more of common sense because it has a mixture of accounting standards, law, AFRF, disclosure requirements, etc. So here in this video, I will be giving you 5 tips in total for this particular chapter. First and foremost tip, you should be clear about the accounting standard like AS2, AS9, AS10, AS11, AS19, AS22, AS26, AS29, etc. Now, I will give you one example. If you are asked a question with respect to inventories, AS2 provision will come. If you are asked a question with respect to PPA, you can write the provisions with respect to AS10. Intangible asset, AS26. So, first and foremost, be thorough with the accounting standards. That's the first one. The second tip, be clear with the provisions relating to law, especially when you are studying the share capital. Say for example, shares issued for premium, section 52, shares issued for discount, section 53, sweat equity shares, section 54, etc. So there are certain provisions of law which you have to be clear while you are studying this particular chapter. As an auditor, we have to check the legal compliance, right? The third thing is regarding the disclosure requirements. Disclosure requirement is as per your which schedule? Schedule 3, which is your AFRF, Applicable Financial Reporting Framework. Study the disclosure requirements with respect to specific items, which is nothing but your Schedule 3. Not only that, there are few items which are important. Say for example, like ratios, relationship with stock-off companies, Binami properties, etc. Those things can be asked as a separate questions. So that's with respect to disclosure requirements. Fourth one, which is the most important one, be sure about the concept of assertion. What? Financial statement assertion. Already we have been studying the concept of assertion from Essay 500, Essay 315. Now in this chapter, when you get an item, say it is a balance sheet item or income and expense P&L account item, you have to check the assertions. Assertion with respect to account balance or assertion with respect to class of transaction. So be confident and be sure regarding the concept of assertion. That is very, very, very important from the MCQ part as well as the descriptive part. So once you get a question with respect to assertion, now think which caption is it? Is it balance sheet or is it P&L account? Then think why this particular procedure is done. Is it to check the existence or is it to check the rights and obligation or is it to check the valuation or is it to check the accuracy? You have to think specifically. So when you get a question with respect to identify the assertion, check whether it is balance sheet or P&L account. Then why audit procedure is done to identify the specific assertion. Now coming to the fifth tip. When you are studying this particular chapter or while you are answering this particular question in the examination hall, various other essays should come to your mind. How? We'll take one example. Okay. Say for example, trade receivable. When you are doing the audit of trade receivables, Essay 505 will come to play. 505, what is it? It is external confirmation. You have to select the trade receivable. You have to send the direct confirmation request. Then if they don't reply, you have to perform procedure. If they reply, if there is a discrepancies, you have to perform additional test, etc. Which is nothing but the provisions of Essay 505. And said and done, all 5 tips are over. Ma'am, you said 5 tips, but the chapter is so huge. It's running into pages. How? Guys, I do understand. My last conclusion about this particular chapter is do it in a piecemeal way. How in a piecemeal way? Don't try to complete this chapter on one day. Rather than doing that, you can do it on a piecemeal basis. Say 3 items or 4 items in a day. Next day, 3 or 4 items. The next day, 4-5 items. According to your available time and according to your schedule, split the chapter and study. So that's all regarding the tips and strategies with respect to chapter number 5, items of financial statements. I've already done a separate video regarding the tips and strategies of chapter number 9, different entities. I've put the link of the same in the description box. If you found this particular video with respect to chapter number 5, tips and strategies useful, kindly put the comment in the comment box. And if you want any further assistance, you can contact me in the number given below. So let's achieve excellence together. We will pass. Wishing you all the very best. Do well for your examination.